Today, for the first time in Africa, a self-flying air taxi will take the skies.
So, ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts, keep your minds open, and let's take off on this journey together. Murakaza neza ichigali.
Listen to me now. The world told us we would always depend on them. They said without their petrol, without their electricity, without their permission, we would not move. Today, I stand before you to say we will move, and we will move on our own terms.
For me, when I'm watching on television, and I find our leaders who should have been working together all along to address these problems that commonly affect their countries, wait until they are invited to go to Europe to sit there and just, it's like they are made to sit down and address their problems. Why does anybody wait for that? What image does it even give about us, about Africa? In fact, the image it gives is that we are not there to even address these problems. We are there for a photo opportunity. We are happy to sit there in Paris with the President of France and address and just talk about addressing problems. It doesn't make sense that our leaders cannot get themselves together to address problems affecting our people. It doesn't make sense. And I tell anybody to his face to go to hell. If anyone comes around and thinks they can, they come and say, hey, we're going to sanction you. To what? Go to hell. Just go to hell.
What kind of outcome you expect where 50 heads of state are sitting? Everybody is asked for speak to 1.5 minutes. You speak to one for 1.5 minutes. What kind of engagement are you going to get? You're going to get nothing, right? The best that you get is photographs. We have been to US Africa. We have been to some other engagement with other countries. Now we have been invited for Russia-Africa summit. We have made a decision, very respectfully as heads of state in Africa, that any engagement with other partners must be an engagement of equals. And for it to be meaningful, if we are going to meet the president of a country, we have organized ourselves that the Troika is going to represent Africa. The chair, the current chair, the past chair, the chair that is coming, and the heads of our regional economic commissions, about 6, 7 people. But what happens continuously? When others want to engage with us, they don't want to deal with the Troika. They want to invite 50 heads of state. So we go to a meeting, just explain to me what kind of outcome you expect where 50 heads of state are sitting. Everybody is asked for speak to 1.5 minutes. You speak to one for 1.5 minutes. What kind of engagement are you going to get? You're going to get nothing, right? The best that you get is photographs. That's it. Precisely. You get these photographs. They normally line us up somewhere, crowd of 50 heads of state. And that's all we come home with. because there isn't time to engage any serious country that wants to engage with Africa, must respect first our architecture. If we have said we are going to be represented by the Troika, why are you inviting 50 people unless you want to sabotage the whole discussion?
Most African politicians, I'm very reluctant to use the word leaders when I make reference to most African politicians. They occupy positions of leadership, but they are not leaders, most of them. First of all, the intention with which they enter into leadership is the problem. They seek office because they love power and privilege and opportunity that it provides to them. They want to become wealthy. And the easiest and shortest avenue to wealth in Africa today is public office. With the minimum effort, you become a multi-millionaire. They go there in order to be worshipped. And they go there not to do the right thing. And once they have been in office, they do so many wrong things that it becomes dangerous for them to leave office. So their continued occupation of office is also to ensure that they enjoy immunity that comes with office. But when you are a good leader who does the right thing, you do not fear to leave office because nothing has changed. And I've seen leaders of that ilk in this part of the continent. And there are quite a number of sprinkling of leaders who have left office and are doing great things. Joaquim Chissano in Mozambique. Ifikepunye Pohamba in Botswana. People like my good friend Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, Ali Hassan Mwinyi in Tanzania, Benjamin William Mkapa, Joaquim Chissano, as I've said, of Mozambique. These are people who have left office and nothing is happening to them because they are men and women of integrity. John Mahama of Ghana. There are quite a number of them now across the continent who do not fear being out of office, and they are doing great things once they leave office. But there are others who will never leave office, because the day they leave office holding all factors constant, they ought to be arrested, because they are thieves and murderers. These are the highest crimes known to man. How can they leave office? And we know
Of course, welcome back. That was the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, and I've combined with the clips of the president of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto, and what they have to say. They were speaking some things in common, because all that they are saying today is what we believe that it's happening. This is what is happening, and we have seen this happening many times, not only in America, but we have seen African leaders going to China, going to Russia. No, not Russia, but in Britain. So all that they have been going to there to do is only to take pictures and feel so. They feel so happy to be with the French President Emmanuel Macron and the King of the Britain. So this is not what the people have been expecting from their leaders. This is not the time of Africa behaving as how it is behaving. The African leaders are not today in a point of begging and depending some people to come and do all they want from their countries. But because, the current leaders of Africa, many of them, they grew up in a system. They grew up in a certain governance whereby the Africa was only there to wait for the Westerners to come and do a lot of things in Africa, which we believe that we can't do it. But we forgot that all that they are coming to do here in Africa, they are just all that they're coming to bring in Africa is that they're just coming to bring back what all that they have taken from Africa. There's nothing new here. There's nothing surprising. There's nothing unique here. Today, everything that we're watching is happening. There is no any other new thing that has happened. But all that we're watching is some things that have been there before. It's just being it's because they have been shifted from one person to another. So when the African leaders are being invited in foreign countries, in Western powers, they are going to there. When they are given opportunity to speak, they only use 2 minutes for greetings and appreciating for the invitation, and they end up with nothing they have raised as a concern that have taken them to that summits. And that is the problem they have been coming to do. When you find any other leader who can come out and speak something, he's there to expose his problems and how the people are facing the challenges in his country, which if he would have sit down with his government, it is a problem that they can solve. But they have to go to wait until they invited, they go and expose their issues there, and at the end of the day they come with nothing in return. This is not the time. From all the speeches that are presented today, I can say that I can appreciate Paul Kagame, because this time Paul Kagame has tried to show his sovereignty. For long, Paul Kagame has been just like African leaders, just like the other leaders, because African leaders, they always speak, but when it comes to action, they are doing nothing. They are doing nothing that can bring any solution to African problems. But at the first time, I've seen African leader Paul Kagame doing something that has shocked the world, because today we are having the flying machines in Rwanda. We have the flying taxis. The flying taxis for the first time has been built and introduced in Africa, only in Rwanda. And this is something that we are so appreciative as Africans, because we believe that if we can put aside all that we are doing, which is not for the help or for the benefit, then we can come up with the best ideas that can build up our continent, can build up and bring a change to our countries, and a change and a respect across the borders. Because the Westerners are not the bad people, but because we try to show them that this is how we are. That's why they have been just taking advantages to Africans. They just take advantage because they used to know that African leaders cannot do anything by their own. But they have to wait until they are being helped for anything, even the little one. So that's why they have been taking advantages to come and take and loot Africans, brainwashing Africans, because the Africans have been asleep for a very long time. But now, a high time, the Africans have awakened, and all that they're doing is something that we must appreciate, and we have not just to appreciate, but we have to put more effort and fight more until we achieve all the agenda that we have been fighting for many years and over centuries. So the enemy of the black people, of the Africans, are the leaders. The African leaders and the Westerners are the enemy of the African continent.
All African countries, and I now know I'm talking to the whole world, all African countries must follow the Zimbabwe model. I'm not mixing my words. Just take the land. Just take the land. If you want to see a white man becoming blue on the face, take the land. Because without land, we have no identity. I come from the bush, I come from the farms, I come from the rural areas. I've seen lions face to face. And when a lion is walking around, he walks around the bush and pees on some few trees around, and he pees to mark his territory with his urine. Then he reproduces with his semen. If you don't have territory, it's illegal to reproduce.
Because these are the people who are making Africa not to achieve anything. These are the people who are making or limiting Africa from gaining anything that is helpful to African continent. We have seen many leaders, despite Africans fighting on how to resist and overcome all these foreign policies and foreign domination, there are many leaders who have still, to this time, welcoming and giving opportunities to the foreigners. They are the one who are selling out our resources, our richness. They're the one who are giving opportunities and selling our future. So it is now for everyone to take part in this war that we are in today, and make sure that we, as the Gen Zs, as the youths, we make our leaders to do what we want, because the power belongs to us. At this time, this is the only time that Africa can liberate. This is the only time that Africa can change the way of governance. Why am I saying this? Because the youths across the world have tried to show who they are and what they are capable of doing. We have seen example in Nepal. We have seen example in France. We have seen example in Kenya. We have seen example in many other countries where the youths have come out on the streets and say that enough is enough. And if you are not able to do all that the citizens demand or the citizens want for a change, then it's either you step aside or do what is needful. And we have seen example, and the leaders of Africa today, they're so feared. They fear for being thrown away by the citizens, by the youths. So if this time the youths can tighten up their ropes, then I believe that Africa is going to change whether they like it or not. And those people who have been using African leaders to come and exploit Africa, for those who have been using African leaders as an umbrella to come and exploit and destroy African continent, loot and steal African futures, this is an end of you. Because the generation that we're having today, this is the time that they are fighting on how to occupy the government. In Africa today, we are fighting on how the youths came to occupy the government so that we can use our manpower, our energy to build up our countries and our continent, to secure all that we're having in our countries, and to make sure that all that we've been fighting for, all that leaders have been doing just to brainwash and benefit for themselves, it must stop. It's not going to happen anymore. So just tell me to have the comment section. I presented you a video of Rwandan President Dr. Paul Kagame and Dr. William Ruto of Kenya, and how they have to speak, how they were trying to address their colleagues or their fellow leaders on how to govern Africa, because Africa has been under the foot for a very long time, and now it's time that Africa stand by its foot and do what is capable of doing. Until next time, just tell me to hold the comment section. Before we meet on the next episode, let's discuss, let's share our ideas and really know what do you feel about these issues. If you really come across all these videos that are on internet, and how the leaders of Africa are being treated outside the African continent, and how they are being taken, because African leaders are not being treated as leaders, because that's how they have branded themselves. Pierre Lumumba once said that he's even afraid of calling African leaders because they are not the leaders. So we are here to fight for the better tomorrow of African continent. Until next time, we come to the same. Thank you very much, and be blessed. Reaching from I Live, and appreciate your support for you being here each and every time, and be blessed wherever you're reaching from.